I found this statue under the roots of a tree I recently pulled up. The tree was very old, so who knows how long it's been buried there. The statue itself is made of the same material as the thing it's holding out. Kind of strange, almost like it's part of the same object. There's a symbol marked on the bottom, but I have no idea what it means. Has anyone seen anything like this before or recognized the symbol? It's an Indian or Nepalese Buddhist figure holding a stupa, which are shrines which relics or remains of saints. This was most likely buried when the tree was planted in memory of someone. The symbol on the bottom is a double dorje and is a cap for the relics and talismans that were placed inside. I found this while metal detecting in western Pennsylvania, just south of Pittsburgh. It was buried about 6 inches under a creek bed, near where a small 19th century bridge once stood. The object appears to be some kind of emblem. It's about 5 inches wide and 3 inches tall, and it's surprisingly heavy for its size. Looks like it's made of pewter or lead. The front is concave with a wagon wheel style imprint, but there are no markings or numbers on the back. I've searched online, but I haven't found anything similar to this object. It's too heavy to be worn on clothing, and there's no clear way to attach it to anything. Any idea what this could be? This is a firefighter badge that is attached to the helmet. I found this plastic sea urchin looking thing outside under my deck. It's about 2 to 3 inches in diameter, and while it's heavy-ish, it's not as heavy as a rock. There's a seam where the two halves were joined, and while I initially thought it might be plastic, it seems like it could be some kind of organic material that's been put together like that. The texture seems a bit decomposed, so I wondered if it could be rawhide or maybe even some sort of aquarium block. To test it, I held a flame to one edge, and it eventually caught fire. After I blew it out, I was left with charred remains and charcoal. It definitely gave off black smoke, which made me second guess if it was plastic. Though plastic usually doesn't act like that. It's odd. The material seems more organic than plastic now, but I still can't figure out what it is. Anyone have any ideas? I think this is one of those squishy channel balls, but it's dried out because it was left outside for so long. This one appears to have become hard, dirty, and discolored from exposure to the elements. I found this wooden tortoise at a thrift store, and I'm not sure if it's a mancala board or a serving platter. It seems a bit too big and cumbersome to be a mancala board, though. Inside, it's hollow beneath the tray, and I can see that the tail is missing when I shine a torch inside. The wood has a pleasant, sweet smell. I've come across other animal-based mancala boards online by searching wooden tortoise mancala board, but nothing quite like this one. It doesn't seem to fit the typical mancala design. Any ideas on what this might be used for? This is an Indonesian board game called Coklat, which is meant to come with a set of wooden balls used for gameplay. I also found a traditional Indonesian game called Kongklak, or Kongkak, which closely resembles mancala. Unfortunately, the boards for these games have 14 depressions with a storehouse depression at either end, so my tortoise piece doesn't quite fit. I'm starting to think this might be a game board for a mancala-like game after all. I found this strange object on top of the fridge. It's a black handle with little razors or tiny blades attached to it. The blades can't be removed, and the handle itself is smooth, with no visible way for it to attach to anything. My family has no idea what it is either, so I'm wondering if it might be cooking related. Maybe it's for slicing or grating something? Or could it be some sort of specialized kitchen tool? Does anyone have any idea what this could be used for? It's an attachment for a mandolin slicer, designed to make julienne cuts for veggies. It looks like one of the sides where it clips on, has broken off. I was helping clean out a house of someone who passed away, and I came across this piece. It has a little cup at the top that swings back and forth, and it says it's from Japan. None of us can figure out what it is. I tried Googling and image searching, but nothing even remotely similar has come up. The material looks like it could be silver-plated, with maybe stainless steel underneath. It's a pretty intriguing piece, but we're stumped on its purpose. Does anyone recognize this, or have any idea what it could be? It's a bridal cup. Bridal cups are a Nuremberg, Germany tradition that date back to the 1400s. It represents the start of a lifelong union between man and woman, and is a symbol of faithfulness and good luck. The small swiveling cup and inverted hollow dress were designed to allow both bride and groom to drink simultaneously to toast their wedding. The groom would drink from the larger cup, the inverted skirt, and bride would drink from the small swivel cup. I found this about 3 feet tall, made of solid wood. It doesn't weigh much, maybe 5 or 10 pounds. There's an arm hanging down that swings, but the top is just a handle and doesn't move. I'm not sure what it's meant for, but it looks like it could have had some specific function. Any ideas on what this could be? This is a boot puller. Place your toe under the small, rounded bit at the front, with your heel fitting into the raised U shape on the bottom board. Grip the handles on the top crossbar, and you can easily pry your boots off. This piece was brought back from Afghanistan during a deployment. It's made of metal, but it's surprisingly light for its material. The object is hollow inside, and the cork top doesn't seem to come out, though I haven't tried too hard to remove it to avoid breaking it. The design features floral patterns only on the outside. At the bottom, there's some writing, but I can't make it out. It stands about 9.5 inches high and is roughly 5.5 inches wide. Interestingly, it has no bottom and is hollow inside, which makes it feel like a container of some sort. It's covered in an oily patina, which gives it a distinct, aged appearance. Any ideas on what this might be? It could possibly be an oil-burning lamp. The fixed spiral channel might be intended for the wick. I found this heavy metal cylindrical object in a box of World War I stuff, and I have no idea what it is. It has a loose cone on top, and at the bottom, there's a smaller cylinder sticking out with small holes drilled into it. From what I can tell, it's likely from the 1940s, but there are no identifying marks anywhere on it. Has anyone seen something like this before? This is a World War I Stokes mortar round, a British-made 3-inch mortar projectile. It weighed 11 pounds and had a maximum range of about 1,000 yards when fired from a mortar. Each regiment typically had at least 6 of these mortars, which were usually hauled to the front by mules. The Stokes mortar became popular due to its effectiveness at lobbing shells into enemy trenches. When the U.S. entered the war in 1917, they sought to avoid the static trench warfare mindset and instead focused on open ground warfare. As a result, they adopted the British Stokes mortar and renamed it the 3-inch trench mortar, Mark I. The U.S. purchased 914 British-made mortars and produced 843 domestically, all of which were used in France before the war ended. The U.S. forces favored the Stokes mortar, forming howitzer companies that supported infantry units. These companies were equipped with 3 Stokes mortars and 3 M1916 37mm guns. The mortar could fire up to 30 rounds per minute, with a sustained rate of 6 to 10 rounds per minute.